Everybody say, ah, say, say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. Say, Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can I express my gratitude? How can I express my gratitude for all the many things, Father, you done for me, yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you. Say, Lord, you are, you're my everything. Say, I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi. You are my banner. I call you Rapha. Hey. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi. You are my banner. I call you Rapha. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. Uya matinyana. Uya matinyana. Lovely, lovely afternoon to all of you out there. It's another Saturday, and we're here by God's grace to be in the community. The Community and the Law is the program that's coming up live on BWTV, BWF Solicitors, social media platforms all around, and of course, very close near you. My name is Owusu Frimpon, and I'm your host. And I would want to say that I'm so glad that I have you here. So let's look at what we're going to have to discuss this afternoon. Now, when it comes to immigration matters, there's this caveat that said that you need 18,600 financial requirement to meet. And how do we do that? How do you get that to sponsor your spouse to come to live with you here in the UK? And especially if you are self-employed. We'll be unpicking all these things. 18,600, that criteria, who comes under that? And if it is that you are self-employed or you are employed, how do you use that to put in your application and make it a successful one? Apart from that, I give you our nuggets and also be looking at our quiz as well. So it's a whole package for you, and I want to welcome you once again to the Community and the Law right after this. Brought to you by BWF Solicitors.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214-218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London. N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking around. Very hot Saturday afternoon here in the UK. Temperature so high, and we're struggling to really cool. But in the coolness of the law, we are going to find some solace. Today, we're going to look at a very important topic where we will be using the very popular 18,600. Now, we're going to use that in our discussion in the realm of one being a self-employed person. How to meet the 18,600 financial requirements for your spouse application if you are self-employed. So get yourselves ready. We're going to unpick that and do that discussion. But before then, earlier in the week, I had the chance of getting that nugget put out by BWF solicitors, and it's talking about police officer being or may in a position to stop and question you in the street or any public place. You don't have to provide any personal details about yourself unless you are a suspect or a witness. The police can only stop and search you. Okay? They have a search warrant. They have reasonable grounds to suspect that you have committed a crime or about to commit a crime. Section 24 Police and Criminal Evidence Act of 1984 is where I picked this one from. Now, question I'm asking is, they suspect you that you are about to commit a crime or you've committed a crime. What is the evidence? How do I even make sure that the police has the warrant? One, two, they have the evidence against me, or three, can I resist that stop and search? With that, I want to welcome my guest resource person, a friend and brother from BWF Solicitors, Lawyer Charles Asma, who is going to help us unravel this and then again take us through our topical discussion this afternoon. So once again, Lawyer Charles Asma, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
It's a hot summer. We
Yes.
were supposed to have gone for a barbecue, but for the love of the community, we're here to serve. Stop and search by the police. I would want to find out, can they do that randomly, or they would have to have some suspicion that this person may have the intention of committing a crime, or they have a tip-off, so then they stop and search anybody or particular person?
Thank you very much. So this is a criminal aspect of the law. And it's important that we let the public know that we have right. At the same time, the public itself has right.
Okay.
Now, the ones that protect the right of the public is the police in terms of crime. Now, we have area that the police or the law that the police uses to ensure that this duty is effected.
Okay.
And that's the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. Now, the police will not do anything that is not within this law. If it is not within the law and what we call the codes, then we say that the police do not have the power.
Okay.
So the police is going to stop and search. Yes, they have the right because they have to protect. They have a duty to do so, or they have to protect the public.
Okay.
The first thing is looking at Section 24 of the law, Police and Criminal Evidence Act. And it tells us that the police have a duty to, or have the power to stop and search.
Okay.
But they must do so with a warrant to stop and search.
Okay.
So they must show that they have the warrant to do so.
Is it mandatory that when they stop you and they're going to search you, they show you the warrant first?
So when they are stopping and searching, they have to show that, yes, they have the warrant to do so.
Okay.
And the next thing is that it's not just about stopping and searching randomly, but that there should be a reason. And that reason, the law says, should be reasonable belief and grounds that the individual is about to commit crime or has already committed crime.
That's right. Okay.
So reasonable belief that there is suspicion of crime being committed or about to be committed or has already been committed.
I'm walking around the shopping center, let's say Stratford, Westfield. Then out of the blue, I see two, three policemen walking together. Then they stop me and say, I have a search warrant. I need to search you. Can I resist?
So the rule is that they have the power to do so if there's suspicion. So once they stop and they tell you that they have the warrant to search, then the presumption is that they have reasonable grounds to do so. You ask why, and they will tell you what it is. Then you have to give them opportunity to carry out that search. So you cannot resist them if they're able to produce that which they have to produce. So they have a duty to show you why they are doing that and the power they have to do so. Once they do that, you have to give them opportunity to.
I asked that question because many person accuse the police that they discriminate, sometimes by way of color, gender, age. They see a group of young persons around an area and they approach them and search them. If somebody has that suspicion, is it reasonable?
The suspicion should not be random or born out of hatred. It should be that whatever is being suspected of is within the protection of the public and is within the duties of the police.
Okay.
And mind you, the global protection is for the police to carry out. And therefore, if the police have reason to do their work, then you cannot resist them from doing their work. The main thing for us is whether the police has what it takes to be able to effect that search or effect that stop. So if they ask you to stop, you have to stop. And stopping means you might be driving and they pull you out, or you are on the street and they ask you to stop by and or stop wherever you are for them to carry out a search. What it means is that, as you said, they might have had a tip-off or they might suspect that something is happening or something is about to happen or even something has already happened. So once they have reasonable grounds to believe that one of these three is the case and they have the warrant to do so, they have the power to effect that.
So when they stop me, can I say that you're searching me? I am not comfortable. Can I pick up the phone or you call somebody to represent me so that the person is here to witness what is happening to me? Do I have that right?
It's too early to do that. If they have done that and they are taking you away to the police station, and having been sent to the police station for detention, quote unquote, then you have the right to call a friend or to call a legal rep. But at this point, is to confirm the suspicion or to confirm whatever has been said is happening
Okay.
or has happened.
Okay. Well, if you just joined us, we're looking at stop and search, the warrants that the police has. And it's said that the police officer may stop and question you in the street or at any public place. You don't have to provide any personal details about yourself unless you are a suspect or a witness. The police can only stop and search you. They can only stop and search you. they have a search warrant. They have a reasonable grounds to suspect that you have committed a crime or are about to commit a crime. So those are the scenarios under which the police can stop and search you. Please don't resist. Allow them to do their job because they would have to establish what suspicion they have and also to protect the public peace and good. So when you are being stopped and you have to be searched, please um, listen, oblige, and get the police to do their thing. But lawyer, quickly before I go on, if they pick up my phone off me and say they're searching me, do they have the right to go into my phone? Because that's my private right.
Yeah, that would be personal information. So if they are searching you, they should search you for something that may be used to injure or to commit crime. So here it could be drug, could be weapon, could be anything of that sort. They are searching for something. And therefore, they cannot ask you to tell them who you are, certain personal information, where do you live, let's see what's on your phone and all that. No.
Okay.
Yes. So when they go to that extent, then they are stepping away from what they have to be doing.
Well, as I said, oblige, don't resist, let them do their job, and both of you will go in your peaceful ways. It's the community and the law, and we'll be right back.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking around with us, the community and the law. And those of you who have just joined us, I want to say welcome on board. Keep your questions and your concern. If you have any question to ask the lawyer, you can put that in the comment section below. And I would want you to also subscribe to the channel and like. So when we put on any content, you will be notified. Good afternoon to you, Raymond, and thank you for complimenting, as you say, good show. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Please share when you join. Ademununkum puts that one on. Wumpini Adam says, good afternoon. We have Nanajiman saying, well, Wumpini continues to say, please share. Nanajiman say, free legal education. Free legal education, yes, Nanajiman. Nanajiman again says, kindly share the video and invite your friends. That's good. Thank you for that. Anita Japoma Japon. Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Asamoah comes in and says, good afternoon, Reku and Big Brother Lawyer Charles. Yes, let's see you. Let's hear about you. Let's also find comments and we read out for lawyer to address for us. Now, later on, when the lines are active, you can call us on 0739920848. Or if you have a WhatsApp message or text, you can send that to 07950-422-780, Studio number is 07399-208-468. Now, we're moving straight into our discussion. Lord Joseph, we have this um, situation where we say people should meet 18,600 when you're making an application to bring in your spouse from outside of the UK to the UK to settle or to live with you. Why 18,600? Where from that? What do we have to do? Who does that?
Thank you very much. So good afternoon to you, viewers and listeners. We have met again on the platform to bring you what we always do, the news about the law, to empower you and to make you confident to do your immigration work or carry out what you want to do, bring in children from abroad, bring in spouses from abroad, or doing it in country. Today we are looking at bringing a spouse from abroad, be it your wife or husband. What we know is that if you're bringing a spouse, you have to show that you work and therefore you can maintain yourself and your spouse so that you do not have to become a burden on the state, what we call the public fund. As a result of that, you have to show that you have a minimum of 18,600. Minimum. It means you can go above that, but minimum. This should be able to help you to cater for yourself and your spouse. It doesn't have to be a balance in your account. It has to be income that you make for the whole year. So the whole 12 months, it should show that the money that comes into your hand is that much. And therefore, it will be enough to meet accommodation, meet food, and other expenses for yourself and your spouse. We are not looking at adding children, because we're adding children, the conversation is different, the threshold will change. But we are just focusing on bringing a spouse. So 18,600 is to be able to maintain yourself and your spouse once he or she arrives.
Now, the obvious question here is we have 18,600. Well, I've got my calculator in my hand, so I'm trying to do some computation here. I divide that by 12, probably, and I've got £1,550. Is that what I am supposed to earn at least in a month that will qualify or get me to qualify to make such an application?
Precisely. And if you are working for somebody, your pay slip will show that you earn a gross wage or salary of 1,550 plus, or give and take, let's say 1,600.
Okay.
But it's about 1,550
1,550.
as you calculated. What if you are not working for someone and therefore you do not receive pay slips? Because if you have pay slip, it shows
That's
your
how much
gross.
you earn.
What if you don't receive pay slip? What it means is that you are self-employed or you are working for yourself. How do you prove it? And that is the conversation for this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll come to that, but let me look at the 1,550 or the 18,600 for the whole year. Why have they set that threshold? For instance, I live in a property that I pay about 500 to 600 pounds for my rent. I pay electricity, I pay my council tax, I pay gas, pay for gas, I pay for my public transportation so that I can commute to work and back. Is this enough money to cater for another person as well?
I suppose the government is very magnanimous to think about people, not to raise it. And so I'm sure you have seen that, well, it's reasonable.
Okay.
Somebody will say, oh, but it's too small. Whatever it is, at least it's good for us. I'm happy that we are not challenging the government that it's too much. But the most important thing is there should be something to be able to live on. Mind you, if your spouse, or when they turn up or he or she comes, the reason is not to come and work per se, but they will obviously be working to support, and therefore 1,550 should be enough
Enough to
to
cater for
start.
two people.
Exactly. Because if you are bringing your wife or your husband, you only need one room. So if you are the room that you live in or live in or sleep in, should I put it that way, that is where your spouse will be as well. So you don't have to worry about another. So if you are paying rent of whatever, that is the same rent. Your food may change a little, the cost of food, because it's going to be times two. Council tax will not change because the same you, quote unquote. Water may change a little, electricity may change a little because of usage and a few other things. However, the presumption is that to cater for rent, clothing, food, 1,550 should be
Should be
able
enough.
to set or serve as the baseline. So that if you have that, we assume that you'll be able to survive with your spouse without recourse to public fund.
Right. So before we go into those who work for themselves, if, for instance, I have the basic 18,600, which is 1,550 from our computation, and I have other sources of income that do not appear on my payslip, do I have to add that to whatever I'm presenting apart from my payslips?
If you were considering bringing a child, then that other sources would be relevant. For with children, you have to prove more of maintenance as opposed to financial requirement per se.
Okay.
But with spouses, it's not enough to show that I have X amount to maintain myself. It says that it should be up to this level. So that's the difference. Now, if your income or salary is not enough, then you have to rely on your savings.
Okay.
And that is another conversation. You can also have multiple streams of earning in terms of employment earning or self-employment earning. But all we are saying is that if you put all together, it should be 18,600.
600. Right.
And there should be evidence to support that.
Right. So now let's look at the category of persons that do not work for people, but they work for themselves. That's the self-employed people. At the end of the month, what do they have to show that they qualify and have the 18,600 as a basis?
Right. So somebody who is a sole proprietor or sole trader, running a corner shop, running a barber, running a hairdresser, salon, running a restaurant, selling food whatever, running a kebab business, running little consultancy business, whatever it is, running a law firm, accounting firm, what have you. They are self-employed. They are sole trader because they have not changed the identity of the business to company. So all they do is they tell HMRC that I am registered. No, I am running a business, making income or money. And therefore, I want you to be aware so that I can pay my tax. I'm a good person, responsible member of a community. So HMRC will issue you with what we call UTR, Unique Tax Reference Number.
Okay.
And that unique tax reference number will be your tax code, so to speak. Because if you were to be working for somebody, you have a tax code based on which you'll be paying your tax. If you are self-employed, you have to be given unique tax number. So once you tell HMRC will issue a unique tax number for tax purposes.
Okay.
You have nothing to do with company house or other regulatory bodies because you have sole identity, what we call sole trader or sole proprietorship. Now, if you want to step up, and let's say you go into partnership with somebody, running a business, but you have partners that you are running a business with, depending on the nature of the business, each partner will have to file its own return, and therefore that partner goes to HMRC in the sole name.
Okay.
So they go and register with HMRC for tax purposes, and that individual will also be issued with UTR.
Okay.
Now, if you decide to go the company identity, so you want to register the business and take the identity of a company, and the reason why somebody would want to go for company is that, let's just step out,
Away
we're
from
changing
the.
away from the original conversation,
All right, no problem.
is this. If you are a sole trader, once the business is in trouble, you are in trouble.
Yeah,
But the
because
business
everything
is
comes.
you,
It's you.
exactly. If you're a partner, once the business is in trouble, you are in trouble, but for your part of it, so to speak. Now, what it means is that you do not have liability limitation.
Okay.
Your responsibility in terms of debt or commitment to the business is not limited. So if the business runs into trouble, you are in trouble in terms of liability or
Liability.
debt.
Okay.
So you can't say that, right, it is the business trouble and I'm separate from the business. No. But when they go to the company identity or assume the company identity for the business, where you are saying that the business is different from me.
Yeah.
So there's what we call artificial personality for the business. And because the business has taken the form of just like a human being, just that it can't breathe, and therefore you are running the business. Whatever the business does is for the business, not you.
Okay.
So if you are a company, once you go register a company, there's limited liability status. And that is why somebody would decide to register a company or run the business as a company.
As a company.
And that person will have to, in addition to HMRC, also be dealing with Companies House
Okay.
for self-assessment and compliance processes. The only advantage here is that when the business is in trouble, you are only responsible for your shareholding. So
How much you have put in as your
exactly. So if you
capital?
hold one share at £1 and the business is in trouble for 1 million or 500,000, you only contribute £1 towards that liability. If it is a limited liability company, there could be a limited liability, but not many businesses have that status.
Okay.
And we have company limited by guarantee. Not many businesses, commercial businesses, go to that extent. But so we are looking at sole proprietor, partnership, or limited liability company. If you're a sole proprietor, whatever you get is for you. So when you file your returns, the money you get minus your expenses, that is everything left for you.
Okay.
The same way, if you're a partner, the share of the business that you receive in your capacity as a partner, you declare, file your returns, and again, whatever is left after your expenses is
It's for you.
If you're a company, it is not you filing in your name. It is a company filing in its own name. And therefore, the money, even though it belongs to you, belongs to the business.
Okay.
So most people will have directorship status. So if you're a director of the business, you then go to HMRC and file your activities with HMRC in your capacity as a director. And there's a form for it, Form P11D. It's also for directors. So we can have somebody who is self-employed running a company, but he's a director. And somebody who is self-employed running a sole trading or sole proprietorship business. Most individuals who would want to bring their partners from abroad will either be running sole proprietorship business, car business, barbering business, restaurateur, or what have you, or they are set up a company and they are running or managing the company, but they are directors. In that case, if you intend to bring your spouse from abroad, you have to look at how much do you get as a director, not what a company gets. And that's the difference.
Okay.
Either way, you have to prove that you earn 18,600 as a self-employed in terms of profit.
So we're talking about your incomings and outgoing. when you're running that business. Now, at the end of the month, whatever has come in and whatever has gone out remains what is yours. If it doesn't add up to 18,600, because for a self-employed trading, for instance, you'd have your profit and loss, then you have
Yeah, profit and
your,
loss
your
account.
incomes and the debits
Yeah.
or profit and loss
Yeah, that's profit.
statement done, and it doesn't add up to 18,600. You may be building a business and thinking that, well, I'm thinking of the future, but for my immigration purposes, how do I top up to meet that as a self-employed person? Do I have to go borrow? Do I have to fall on some savings somewhere? Can I use my credit card as part of it?
Right. So the rules are simple. Remember, if you were to work for somebody and your pay slip shows that you are earning X amount, you cannot use your credit card to top up. It is
Okay.
what is on your pay slip that matters. The same way, if you are self-employed, it is what you declare to HMRC that matters. So the question is, how much have you declared to HMRC for tax purposes?
Okay.
And here we have to draw a line between immigration purpose and tax purpose. They don't overlap. They are parallel.
Okay.
Therefore, you cannot say that for tax purpose, I want to gain and still gain on immigration,
immigration, right.
front. No. So immigration front, you have to show 18,600. The moment you're able to prove that you have made 18,600, and we'll be able to we'll explain very soon what constitutes the 18,600.
Yeah.
You have to tell the tax man that you have made 18,600, so they should tax you on that. And if you are a sole trader or a partner in a partnership business, what it means is that you are trading in the sole capacity, so they will take out your personal allowance, and whatever is left, you pay your tax of either 20% or 40% or 45%, depending on how much is left in that graduation order, and you pay the tax to the government.
Okay.
So you cannot aim to make tax savings and at the same time make immigration savings. You lose or gain either way.
Lawyer, there's this thing that's just crossed my mind. When I am employed, the 18,600 is pre-tax or my gross. When I'm self-employed, do I have to earn 18,600 before tax is deducted, or the 18,600 will be calculated on when I have paid my tax and what I've declared to the taxman?
Right. So the policy intent is this. Which of the two do you think will pay the right tax, given opportunity to do it themselves? Is it the one working for somebody or the one working for themselves? If you are working for somebody, it's likely you pay the right tax because you don't have control over the tax to be paid. That responsibility is given to the employer. So the employer is the agent of the tax man. And the tax man believes that the employer will take the tax and file it for them.
and do the correct one.
Exactly. So you don't have control. And therefore, they will tell you that your gross is enough because the tax will be taken anyway. So if you tell us that this is your gross, that's fine. Because if that is your gross, then the employer will take the right tax before they give you the rest as your net pay.
Okay. So then the taxman doesn't have to worry when you are employed.
Yes, if you're an employee or a worker, the taxman doesn't have to worry because there is an agent, the employer, to do that for them.
Okay.
If you are self-employed, there's no agent. You are the person responsible to tell the taxman how much you make.
Okay.
And whatever you tell the taxman is taken as the gospel, and therefore you pay the tax on it. So if you tell the taxman that I didn't make any money, the taxman will say, then don't pay anything. If you tell the taxman I made 1 million, the taxman will say, pay the rate based on that 1 million.
Okay. After your personal allowance is taken away.
Exactly. What it means is that given the opportunity, a rational being will seek to minimize tax liability, insofar as it's within the law. So what is within the law? If you are self-employed, every expense incurred in running the business is within the law. It's whole exclusive to the operations of the business, what we call operating expenses. So if you say that you made £10,000 and you spent £10,000 and you had zero left, then you don't pay anything to the taxman.
Okay.
But immigration tells you that you should show that you have 18,600 based on which you pay your tax.
Okay.
So if you want to really meet the immigration rules, then you have to. That means the business is not profitable. If the business is not profitable, then you don't meet the threshold to bring somebody to take care, to live with you in terms of spouse.
Let's make the business profitable now and look at that. But before we go on, if you just joined us, you are with us on the Community and the Law, and that's brought to you by BWF Solicitors. Wumpini Adam says, BWF Solicitors, they have the solution to all your legal matters. Well, thank you very much, Wumpini, and that's the reason we're here. Nanaya says, good afternoon to all of you. We have Richard Nana Osei Tutu. Good afternoon to Mr. Asma. And well, quick, Jima Boache, good afternoon, Kwiku. Yeah, Jima, thank you very much. Kwesi Pencil, good evening, Kwiku. So hi, my brother Charles from Henry in Telford. Okay, thank you very much. And I've mentioned that, Alex, thank you, hi to you. I've mentioned that along the line, we will be bringing the Community and the Law out of the studio to the communities, and we'll be streaming live from wherever you find yourself. So get yourselves prepared, and we might be springing a surprise on you very shortly. This afternoon, we're discussing how to meet the 18,600 financial requirements for your sponsor's application as a self-employed person. Lawyer Charles Asma is taking time to let us know who a self-employed person is, who an individual is as against the corporate body, which is the business. If you're self-employed and you haven't registered as a corporate body, the liability of the business, everything falls on you. If you have registered as a business, your business is a corporate entity, which is different from you. And when there's a liability, your liability is limited to the amount of capital you have put in. So if your share is £1, well, and the organization incurs a loss of £1 million, yours is to pay £1 to make sure you reduce the deficit. That's what we're looking at. But now we're going to get into some calculation and some nitty-gritties as to how to get the 18,600 after you've done your profit and loss, and what it is that the taxman is looking at, what it is that the immigration is looking at, and how you can get yourself ready for that. We will be taking a short break to say thank you to BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors are at 214-218 Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters, North London, N15 4NP. They are on the 4th floor of the other house. What do they do? It's all about the law. Over 30 years of experience. They do a lot of immigration application and representations. They help you write your wills and probates. And of course, they also help you with property matters when you need legal advice. When there's an appeal and you have to make a representation in court, BWF Solicitors can help you do that. BWF Solicitors are trusted partners when it comes to the law. This is their message. We'll be right back.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. he is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Welcome back, and thank you for your patience and tolerance, and even your understanding that I need to get you that message from BWF Solicitors. Now, BWF Solicitors, call them on 0208 493 7340. I say the number again, 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 884 077 127 884. BWF Solicitors are trusted partners when it comes to the law. This afternoon, we're looking at how to meet the 18,600 requirements, and Lawyer Charles Osman is helping us do that. Good afternoon, Sandra Fraser, and you're welcoming our viewers. Thank you very much. I think you're a little late today. And again, before we move on, yesterday or earlier in the week, I should say, it was the birthday of our dear sister, Na Mayete. Na, happy birthday to you. May God continue to bless you and make sure that you prosper every step of the way. And also, the employee of the month of August was our own Cynthia Brown, the practice manager here at BWF Solicitors. So to Auntie Cynthia and Namayati, we want to say congratulations, both of you. One on your birthday, the other on your achievement as the employee of the month. Thank you so very much. Work hard and continue to be as sweet as you both are. Last one, let's come back. 18,600. Obviously, it's not a figure that's quoted out of the vacuum. It's based on certain things that, at least as a basic requirement. As a self-employed, how do I arrive at that? Is it just my expenses taking away from my income, or the inflows, or what?
Thank you very much. Today we're going to do basic accounting.
Can I get my calculator ready?
Get your calculator.
Okay.
So remember, within the tax rules, there are keywords. Government is always not happy when people are evading tax. Evading tax. Tax evasion is illegal, but necessary tax avoidance is legal. What it means is that if you are spending to create wealth, then that spending should be taken into account when it comes to concluding how much you have created in terms of wealth.
Okay.
Those wealth creation costs is what we call operating expenses.
Okay.
So if you are a self-employed person, let's take a simple car business, somebody who runs an Uber business and has concluded that I am self-employed, not an employee for Uber company.
Okay.
So this self-employed Uber driver buys fuel, pays for MOT, pays for road tax, or the compliance costs. This self-employed person buys food to be able to be strong to go and drive, take people to wherever. So food cost, this cost, and all that for the period of time that they are driving or the week. All this will come together and be part of the operating cost.
Okay.
This person will have possibly have to pay for cost of financing a car. So they get a car on finance and they pay every month.
Yeah.
So this is an expense necessary for running the cab business or
Okay.
the Uber business.
Okay.
They have to maybe dress in a way that will make client happy to want to come back. Because there are standards to be met, and
Gotcha.
therefore you cannot wear any dress at all. So that will be necessary for running or doing that business. So clothing, cost, fuel we've talked about, service, this, that. If they have to pay something to register Uber certification or number every year or month, it's part of the cost.
Okay.
If you put all this cost together, we'll compare it to whatever money they are getting from Uber company every day or every week or every month as part of their payment. Because when we take Uber, the driver receives percentage of the money we pay to Uber company. And that percentage is their income.
Okay.
We call it turnover
Okay.
in the business language. So your turnover we compare to your expenses, and we have how much you have actually received.
Okay.
What it means is that even though you have received, for example, 20,000, a chunk of it will go towards these expenses. Then, in principle, you actually earned minus the expenses, not
Before the
the
expense.
expenses. Then, minus the expenses, whatever is left is called profit. But we have two layers of profit, of course. We have gross profit and the net profit. But for simplicity, let's say profit after your expenses. So three things: your actual money from all the business clients,
Okay.
minus all the expenses, you have your net profit. You have your profit.
Okay.
It is this profit that you have to pay tax on.
Okay.
What it means is, if your turnover is 20,000 and your expenses is 18,000 and your profit is 2,000 and you are paying tax,
You're talking about monthly
not for the whole year.
for the whole year.
For the whole
Okay.
year. Because for businesses, it's for the year.
Okay.
It's for the, even though you be preparing your books or making your books every year, every month, or every week or whatever, every quarter and all that, you put all together for tax purposes at the end of the year for filing. Now, somebody will say, all right, I have made 20,000 and the law says 18,600.
600.
That means I even made more than they need.
But as self-employed, it may be different.
The question is, how much tax did you pay if you made 20,000 as you claim? You've paid no tax because you are telling the taxman that your profit is 2,000. And it is even less than your personal allowance of 12,570. So tax free. So you don't pay, keep all your 2,000 plus paying all your expenses. And yet you are saying, I'm filing for my spouse and I'm saying that I made 20,000. No, you actually made 2,000
2,000.
for immigration purposes.
Well, and then in that case, the person doesn't qualify because you haven't met the 18,600.
You've made 2,000, which is far less than 18,600. And what we want viewers and listeners to be aware of, especially those of you who are self-employed, is the 20,000 turnover is not your money entirely.
I can see on my face that surprise is there, and I can see it on the face of many a viewer. Why is it not my money? Because when you were explaining that the business liability, if I'm self-employed and not registered as an organization, that whole liability is mine. So why is it that the money that has come in is not mine?
It's not yours entirely because you cannot pay, you cannot spend that without paying for the expenses of the business.
Okay.
So the one that is coming to your pocket for as yours is not 20,000. It's after you have paid for how much it costs you to generate that 20,000.
I buy clothing for work. I buy lunch whilst I'm working.
Whilst I'm running my business,
Whilst I'm running my business, thank you very much, and all these things. But lunch is for your personal satisfaction. Clothing is for your personal satisfaction, even though you do that in the course of doing your business. Why can't I use that as part of my calculation?
so remember we said that clothing, if that clothing is wholly exclusive to running the business because of your clientele, then it's important. For example, you're a consultant, you have to wear suit to meet your clientele, and therefore you buy suit every month. Then that clothing cost will go into the business expenses. You entertain your clients in terms of every month or every 3 months meeting them to have a cocktail and to that is part of it. For example, we are supporting the community. The cost of supporting the community will go towards the business, for example, as a fed, because it's part of the business expenses. Somebody, why is it part of the business expenses? We can call it a charity cost or we can call it marketing cost
Okay.
or publicity cost. Either way, it is business cost.
Okay.
So if you are self-employed, as long as the expense is wholly and exclusive to the performance of the business activity, it is acceptable expense. So you have to pay that. You have to pay rent or lease every month. You have to pay whatever. All these things must be paid. You have to pay. If you are sole proprietor, for example, then you have to be. Let's say you pay. You have people supporting you. Then there will be staff cost. All this ought to be paid before you say that this is what is left for me. And that's what we call profit. So you can be in business but not necessarily making profit
Okay.
because you get and you spend everything.
Right.
So for tax purposes, it's good because you don't have to pay anything to the tax man.
But for immigration
But
purposes,
for business sustainability purposes, it's not good. Because if you are making and spending all, then there's no need to be in business, for example. And therefore, you cannot rely on that zero balance to bring your spouse from if you are now going into immigration.
okay. So in any case, you would have to have 18,600. If you fall short as a self-employed person, for the employed person, you mentioned that you could fall on your savings and the other things. For a self-employed, can I follow my savings if I fall short?
There is savings category as well, but the savings conversation is technical. Because with savings, you must show the money. With profit, it doesn't have to necessarily sit in your bank account.
Okay.
So it's in the book, but you have to show. And how do you show that you made it? Based on the tax you paid.
Okay.
So if the taxman, if the immigration officer wants to know that indeed it's genuine, they will check the tax liability on that and work it back to say, hang on, if this is the tax you have paid or you are going to pay, then you didn't make up to 18,600, for example. And you have to show. So we are going to look at what we call specified evidence.
Okay.
If you are bringing your spouse from abroad to join you as self-employed.
Well, we are activating the lines now 07399208468 or 07950422780. You can also put your question or your comments in the section below on Facebook and YouTube so we can pick that one up. There are a few of the questions there, but in the meantime, let me recognize the presence of Alexander Bernard Weissman, Perpetual. We have Esther Mwako, Lily Obuobisa, Lydia Biousu, you're online. Nike, you're watching with us. Thank you very much. Prince Ade, you are watching with us. Thank you very much. Sandra Fraser, I've acknowledged you that already. Nanaya, thank you. Whippany Adam, you're here. Richard Nano, say to you, thank you. Here, Jimabwache, thank you. You're here. Let's pick up this question. Well, you can ask the lawyer any question, but if you have anything concerning what we are discussing, you can bring that one up. How to meet the 8,600 financial requirements for your spouse's application if you are self-employed. Remember, the lines are on the screen now, 07399208 Hello, lawyer. Please, um, uh, please, in children application from Ghana, if sole responsibility is met and at the same time child is diagnosed with life-threatening disease, one, will the doctors write a medical report or letter? Two, will doctor's wife write medical report separately and letter of confirmation of sole responsibility separately? Or one write-up that contains the child's sickness and confirming sole responsibility will be enough?
Right, it's all jumbled, but let's unpack the point.
Okay.
So, bringing a child, what will I need to prove sole responsibility, and what will I need to prove that a child's situation is serious and compelling enough, and therefore they have to be allowed to come to the UK?
Okay.
Now, if it's about compelling or serious nature of the child's circumstance where they are, if it's medical, then you need doctor to confirm that
Okay.
that the child's situation is so dire that they will need the parents' care and support.
Okay.
And if the parent cannot go to live with them, then they have to come and live with the parent. It is not up to the doctor or whoever is writing anything to say that let the child go. They are giving their independent opinion. That will conclude a fact. And the conclusion that the letter is drawing or arriving at is that even though having said so, everything is clear that maybe the mother is the one responsible for the child's upbringing or the child, every decision about the child. So in the letter, for example, from the doctor has indicated that, has introduced him or herself profession-wise and indicated that I'm the doctor for this child. The child was brought to this place under the instruction of his or her mother, who on record lives abroad, lives in the UK or lives wherever. One point. The second point is that in terms of the diagnosis and decision regarding medication and whether there should be surgery and all that was arrived at with the permission with the parent, and the permission to go ahead was given by the whoever the parent is, and on and on and on and on. While the child has been here over the period that we have been taking care of this child, there has not been presence of the child's father. We have on record that the child's father has never been in the life of the child, or the child's father is dead, or whatever. That's what they have on record, and on and on and on. What are they trying to say? They're trying to say that the mother has been solely responsible for that aspect of
it.
decision making for the child. What are they also saying? That this child health has been protracted. It's now getting to a point where physical support of the mother is needed, and blah 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 blah. And it's our recommendation that something like this happens. It's a medical professional recommendation of the doctor.
Okay.
I think he's asking whether the doctor can write one and the doctor's wife. Is it the case?
It says the doctor can write one, and let's see if we can bring up one. Will doctors write a medical report separately and a letter of confirmation of sole responsibility separately as well? I don't know whether the person is expecting the doctor to write that letter of sole responsibility.
You can see that this prototype draft we have created here now, from what I've said, point to two directions. There's element of decisions taken solely by the mother, and the fact that the father of the child is not even in the life of this child on record. There's also evidence pointing to how serious the child's medical circumstance is and how important it is for the mother or the father, whoever is bringing the child, to be physically there or emotionally there or whatever it is. So this is one letter targeting 2 points.
Okay. All right. 0739920848 or send a WhatsApp message or text message to 0795042278. You can do a voice note if you don't want to join us live. Perpetual comes in and says that, good evening, lawyer. My niece is here with work visa. The care company couldn't offer her a job. Can she look for another job? Please advise.
So my view is that if the employer that brought her is not able to keep to the contract or the terms of the employment, she will have to find another employer. And I know that even if the Home Office gets to know that the employer is not able to keep to the work arrangement, your niece will be given 2 months to look for another employer who is willing to sponsor her for work. And on that basis, she will switch from the old employer to the prospective one that she may find. So yes, your niece can switch to another employer and continue and start the process from there.
Okay, one on the platform. This one says, "Good evening, lawyer Asma Nuriku. Good job you're doing for the community." That's a huge one. Okay, let's see if we can unravel that. I have a question on spousal and child visa forms to fill with the recent update. I'm a British citizen and I have a wife and child under 10 years in Ghana who are Ghanaians. I want to apply for a spousal visa for them to join me. My question is, one, which forms do I use for the application? Do I need to fill Appendix FM spousal stroke partner or Appendix FM child only? Appendix 1, VAF Form 4, VAF 4A, July 2022, or Appendix 2 of VAF 4A, financial requirements. Do I need to fill any of these? Then the fourth one says, my child I'm applying for was born when I was still married to my ex-wife, and a spousal visa and on her spousal visa. I married my current wife after my ex-wife divorced me. Now, on the application where it says, when did your relation begin? Do I put a date when I first met my now wife, although we were not married but friends and got her pregnant? Or when I officially got her or married, officially got married to her, only married her after I was divorced? Another very long one, but he gives a fifth point. Okay. On the issue of shared responsibilities on the application forms of spousal visa, what are the implications if I say yes or no? If I say yes, do I have to state the exact amount I contribute? And if I say no, does it have any negative bearing on my application? Mark, this is a whole consultation.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to be, I'm going to summarize my response.
Okay.
So I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So there are 3 points in there. The first to do with making application for spouse and the child. The second part to do with relationship aspect, when it started, and the other aspect to do with the specifics of the forms. Now, so the third one or the final one is that if Kweku is going to repeat, Bragoku is going to repeat that for us for the benefit of viewers. So just the last part, not the middle, the last part.
The fifth point, it says on the issue of shared responsibilities on the application for spousal visa, what are the implications if I say yes or no? If I say yes, do I have to state the exact amount I contribute? And if I say no, does it have any negative bearings on the application?
So they're asking whether you have shared responsibility. Of course, if you are living with your wife or husband, you have shared responsibility for rent, accommodation, shared responsibility if there are children involved, childcare. You have shared responsibility for general essential living needs. You may even have shared financial responsibility for whatever insurance or other policy arrangement that you have for the family. So there may be shared responsibility. So you say yes, and they'll ask you to give details. Then you just mention some of those things that you share in common with, or you contribute to as a family, what you pay together. Not necessarily giving how much it is, but give give the details. So if it's rent, the bills, childcare, what have you, yes. The second part,
Yeah.
Brad could repeat for us.
The second part is kind of related to let me look. Let me start from the very top. It will give us a good scenario. Um, I'm a British citizen and I have a wife and child under 10 years in Ghana who are Ghanaians.
I think the second part is to do with when relationship started, whether at the point of marriage or before, because I have
Okay.
remarried
Yeah.
and all
So
that.
this one, it says, my child I am applying for was born when I was still married to my ex-wife and on her spousal visa. I married my current wife after my ex-wife divorced me. Now, on the application where it says, when did your relation begin? Do I put a date when I first met my now wife, although we were not married but friends and got her pregnant, or when I officially got married to her? We only married after I was divorced.
Of course, you can only marry when you have first divorced, because that would be an offense if you marry whilst you are married. It's an offense in the UK. So you will always divorce and you will remarry. Now, you don't marry on the day generally. I don't think anybody has married the person when they first met the person. So there will be a journey before they actually marry. And nobody will marry anybody if they haven't met. And nobody will marry anybody if they haven't formed a relationship or started a relationship.
Okay.
So there are 3 points. One, when you met.
Okay.
That is different from when you started the relationship. And that is different from when you married.
Okay.
So you might be in a relationship while still married, but you have to divorce before you actually marry the person.
Okay.
So the dates are different, and you should know, and you are the best person to tell
So
whoever
what's the most relevant date in here?
all are
When
relevant.
when the woman got pregnant, when he got divorced, and when he got married.
We cannot follow this to say that that is the date,
Okay.
because we don't know when they started their relationship before the woman got pregnant. The question to you is, when did you meet your spouse? The first day you met, whether you met at the pub or at the market square or wherever, you know. So you have the date you met. They ask you, when did you start a relationship? When did you start going out, literally? You also know. Then when you married.
Okay.
So from this, our friend will be able to work it backward to say, that, all right, okay, I remember we met this time. So that's the date. Oh, okay, actually, it took us about 3 or 4 months to start a relationship. So this is when it started. And I actually married after my divorce. So I married her on this date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can go on to the next one.
And
This
that's
one,
the first one, the first part,
the first part, it says
to do with the
that
forms.
yeah. I have a question. Which forms to fill with the recent updates? Then he gives the details as to who he was and
Yes.
all that.
So when you are of course, when you are making application, there will be questions that you have to work your way through. The type of application you are making, it will take you to the next level, and so on and so forth. And once you are able to take what you have to take, they will ask you which of the forms applies to you. Appendix FM form. Now, if you are applying for a child, it's different from if you're applying for a spouse. So if you're applying for a child, there will be a form to be completed for the sponsor, the
Okay.
appendix form. And if you are applying for the spouse, there will also be appendix form because you are the sponsor. But the appendix form for the child is different from the appendix form for the spouse. Either way, once you have completed the form, the appendix form will be also available for you to print and complete and add to your application.
Okay. Well, as I said, You've taken a whole appointment, and well, that's good, and that's another essence of this program. Ebenezer, hello, you are live with us on YouTube. Thank you very much. Now let's go to Derek. Derek says, "Good evening, lawyer Noreku. As a student-dependent partner, when can I switch when I enter the UK, and what other requirements do I need to meet in order to switch?"
So you're a student-dependent partner. Switching to what? It's not clear.
It means,
Because switching means that you want to go move to another visa category
obvious.
other than
Other
visitor's
than-
visa.
Okay.
So are you moving to parent category? Are you moving to um, skilled worker category? Which category are you looking at? For each category will have its own provisions to be met.
Now, this person says that is a student dependent and
Yes.
wants to switch. So, what will be the likely and the most common route to switch to?
All right, so you can switch to the skilled worker provision if whilst being here, you have found a job and applied and been considered for employment and begin sponsorship.
Well, he comes in to say skilled worker visa.
Yes, so if it's skilled worker visa, you have to follow the provisions of skilled worker, append the skilled worker provisions of the immigration rules. And so this time you are not applying as a dependent of a student. You are applying as a skilled worker in country. You are not applying from abroad, you are applying from within. So what do you need will be the things that you have to show. Sponsorship is issued to you by way of COS. You have to show that you have met the English language requirements in country. You have to show that if the employer is not supporting or has not confirmed maintenance, you meet the maintenance. But most employers will confirm maintenance, and therefore maintenance would have been covered by the employer or within the COS. And you put all this together. Of course, you have to, if you're already in the country, in the UK, which you are, you have to show DBS as well, which is a criminal record report in country.
07399208468, WhatsApp 0795042280. Perpetual says that if you have the right to seek alternative employment, does it have to be the same profession or trade? Secondly, the restricted work on the biometric card, what does it mean?
When they say restricted work, they will tell you specifics. Usually they will tell you that you cannot go into sporting activities like Formula One and what have you. But any other job, you can. Apart from you being the main sponsored worker, if you are the dependent, you are open to any work, provided that work is not a restricted work. For example, you cannot be working as a doctor if you don't have the qualification.
You have, yeah,
You
obviously.
cannot be working. Therefore, there are certain trades that will require you to have specific trade license. And therefore, if you don't have the trade license, you cannot venture. But nobody would dare to venture in such area anyway. And therefore, as long as you are doing the normal job that everybody will be doing to survive, yes, then it should be fine. So you can go into teaching, you can go into care, if you have nursing qualification, you can apply for a job as a nurse. Of course, you have to go through the process to adapt, to do all the qualification or the license program to be able to get the hospital to trust you to give you full nursing role. Otherwise, you can be a nursing assistant or care assistant. You can do any other job from A to Z so far as it's within your qualification remit.
Well, let's move on. If you just joined us, we're live on the community and the law, and that's brought to you by BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors are trusted partners when it comes to the law. Now, they are on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214218 Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Call them. They work from Monday to Friday between 9:30 in the morning and 6 o'clock in the evening. 0208 493 7340, 0208 493 7340, or you can call them on the mobile number 077 127 61884. 077 127 61884. Now we're taking a quick break. When we come back, there's this video that's doing the rounds in the community, and we'll get lawyer to let us in on what is happening. It's supposed to be an update or something that's coming up that people need to take note of. What is that? How does it affect you? How does it affect me? We'll be right back after this.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF solicitors. BWF solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214-218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London. N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Well, thank you very much. That was the message I needed. Rebecca Asante, please, is it true that British is going back to the EU? Laura, is UK going back to the EU?
No.
Well, Laura says no. So, Becky, no. Well, there's this video, as I mentioned, that's going around in the community. And I would want us to look at that, and then we will go over to lawyer for the explanation. And let me point that this video is being used for education purposes. We don't own the right to that video. We're using that just for education purposes and for us to get the community to understand. Let's watch it.
UK travel requirements are changing. Except British and Irish citizens, everyone, including children, who enters or transits through the UK will soon require permission before they travel. This means if you were previously eligible to visit the UK without a visa and are not already legally resident in the UK, you will need an electronic travel authorization, or ETA. Your stay must be shorter than 6 months and could include tourism or visiting family and friends, transit, business, and short-term study. If you want to come to the UK for other reasons, such as work or long-term study, you should apply for a visa instead. If you need an ETA, make sure you apply online before booking any travel to the UK. Once granted, it will be valid for multiple journeys over 2 years, or until the passport you applied with expires, whichever is sooner. When you check in for your journey, you may not be allowed to board without a valid ETA. As the ETA is digitally linked to your passport, you do not need to show a paper copy, but it may be helpful to print the confirmation email for your own records. While an ETA grants you permission to travel to the UK, it does not grant you entry. So you will still need to go through passport control at the border to enter the UK. Make sure you show the same passport you used to apply for your ETA, and that your passport is valid for the whole of your stay. For the latest information on how the changes will affect you, search Electronic Travel Authorisation on gov.uk.
Well, thank you very much for your time and patience. Lawyer, ETA, this is something that's doing the rounds. Is there any new thing coming?
So, if you are traveling to the US and you do not need a visa, most countries have bilateral arrangement with or travel arrangement with the US. So you do not need a visa depending on which country you are a citizen of to travel to the UK. However, you need to be cleared.
Okay.
And the clearance is the authorization. So US calls it ESTA, YESTA. The UK is going to call it ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization. It's for those who do not need visa to come to the UK,
Okay.
but cannot just get up and come without being cleared.
Okay.
So then what's the clearance for? It's for protection of the citizens. Let's call it for character clearance or so sort of, because these days everybody is becoming aware of people's behavior and what they do and so on and so forth. So if you are going to be cleared, once you don't go through clearance, it means you cannot enter the country. It doesn't mean you don't have the visa right to go there. You may not need a visa, but if the clearance is not granted, then it is not about the fact that you don't qualify to go there, but your character at that point is not suitable for the country. And that's what the UK is introducing. So it's going to be the same way as we have in the US.
Okay. Does this kind of engulf all EU citizens who have not declared to stay in the UK as residents, like those who do not go through the EUSS? Is it something for them, or is for everybody else as well?
So if you are coming to the UK, but you don't need a visa to enter the UK, that means you don't live in the UK, but
Okay.
you can enter the UK without a visa. In that case, most European countries, nationals can enter the UK after Brexit for visit and return. Now, once the program is introduced, they will need clearance, not visa, clearance.
Clearance. That's the ETA.
The ETA authorization, travel authorization. So even if you have the right to enter, your travel needs to be authorized by the system to be set up.
Okay.
And it's mainly character sort of thing, so that they know that whoever enters the UK is the right person to be entering the UK.
So would they just be a letter you print out, or you can go on the system and when this is data and feed into whatever it is, then they will know that you have an ETA.
So if anybody has done stuff for US, they will understand how
appreciate
the
that.
process works. But suffice to say that it's an online form that you need to complete and submit. Within 24 hours, it's processed and you get your result either approved or rejected.
Okay.
If it's approved, then you can travel. You don't need a visa to go there, but your travel has been authorized. So once you enter the borders, the immigration officer will inspect your ETA. And the ETA can be reused for the period that it's been authorized for.
Okay. Somebody asked me for the studio number to call at 073-99208-468, 073-99208-468. If you have a WhatsApp text or you have a voice note, you can use the number 07950-422-780, 07950-422-780. We have a few moments before we go on to our quiz, but I want to remind you that earlier on we mentioned stop and search from the police. Let's recap that quickly. It says that a police officer may stop and question you in the street or any public place. You don't have to provide any personal details about yourself unless you are a suspect or witness. The police can only stop and search you if they have a search warrant. 2, they have reasonable grounds to suspect that you have committed a crime or about to commit a crime. That's Section 24, Police and Criminal Evidence Act of 1984. That lawyer Asma explained that, and the caution and advice was that don't resist, let them do their work, because they would have to fulfill the public good as well. So the police officer may stop and question you in the street or any public place. You don't have to provide any personal details about yourself unless you are a suspect or a witness. They can only stop and search if they have a search warrant or they have reasonable grounds to suspect that you have committed a crime or about to commit a crime. Somebody will say if something is written on your forehead like mine, there's a suspicion that you you may commit a crime, you may search. Well, joke aside, it's for the police to do that to protect the public good. So, keep your comments coming through. Very shortly, we shall be going over to our quiz segment, and I'll test your knowledge as to what it is. Perpetual, I think we have done this. Let's say, yes, restricted work. I think we've picked that one up, so we can skip that one to Nancy. This one says, Nanajua, I have a few questions. If you're on a student visa and you stayed for 5 years, can you apply for a permanent residence permit? If you switch from your current sponsor after 2 years of work, does the 2 years contribute to the 5 years continuity of stay to acquire your permanent residence with your current sponsor? Well,
Right. So before we go to our sister, let's clarify the point on the ETA, because I think some people think that it's open, it's a blanket authorization for everybody. But we have made it clear that some countries, citizens of some countries do not need visa to enter the UK. So if your country requires that you need a visa to enter the UK, it does not apply to you.
okay.
So if you're a Ghanaian or
And you
most
need a
African countries,
you need a visa
this
to enter
will
the
not
UK.
apply to you.
With this
Go through the
okay.
normal process.
Okay.
But your country is not a visa-free country.
Okay.
So the program is going to be rolled out.
Okay.
It's going to be rolled out. What it means is that it's starting from most Arab countries. And most Arab countries will be used as testing point. So they start from there. Later on, most EU countries will be enrolled, and eventually becomes a global thing for countries that do not
Need
need visa to enter the UK. But it's something that the government has proposed and hasn't started, but it's going to be starting around the end of the year 2023 and continue from 2024. But suffice to say that most African countries, or all African countries for that matter, do not have free travel arrangements with the UK. So this does not apply to African countries.
Okay. So then we can say that if it starts off, say November or December, whatever the time, it's going to start with certain countries before it's rolled out to all the other countries, and that have visa-free arrangement with the United Kingdom. So, well, take note of that. And as I said, we've just been responsible as one organization, BWF Solicitors, as trusted partners, to say that whenever something comes up, we will let you know. And so you do the right thing in that situation. Okay, now let's go on to Nanajua. Student visa and you stayed for 5 years, can you apply for a permanent residence? If you switch from your current sponsor after 2 years of work, does the 2 years contribute to the 5 years continuity of stay to acquire your permanent residence with your current sponsor?
So if you're a student, you've been a student for 5 years, it doesn't lead to permanent residence. So students will usually follow the 10-year continuous residence route. So that's if you're a student. So you have to keep studying. So you've gathered enough years, 10 years, then you can apply for permanent residence. And make sure there's no break. The next one to do the skilled worker. The program is that if you come on the skilled worker route, you will stay for 5 years. After the 5 years, you apply for indefinite leave to remain. Some employers will give you employment for the whole 5-year journey. Some employers will give you in batches. So the first contract renewed, another contract, and so on and so forth. What if my renewal is with another employer? It's still within the program. And if it is within the program, whether it's the same employer or a different employer, I don't think the program will say that because you move to another employer, it's still the same skilled worker provision. And you have to ensure that there's no break whatsoever.
Okay.
Then that's why you are given 60 days to switch.
To switch.
So if you have done 3 years and you move on to another 3 years, you have to make sure that you've done your 5 years without any break. And once they check and they conclude that yes, you've complied with the rules, then you've done the 5 years, then you can apply for the indefinite leave to remain.
Okay. Well, I think we have one from, well, a few questions there. Perpetual, it means that, okay, there's a response that's come from our principal. So if you're on the platform, you can pick that one up. Well, let's see what Ademunun can put on and the response that came quickly. When is the ATA coming into place? Let's pick up the response as well quickly. It means that they only work in the same industry for part-time. Okay. Then Roxanne Asante, your question here quickly. Please, I'm among the EU and currently in London, and I want to secure a stay for my uncle here. Is it possible?
He's in the EU?
So I am among the EU, so I assume that he's a EU national.
And where is he?
Currently in London, and he wants to see if can secure a stay for the uncle here.
Well, I mean, the fact that it's an uncle means extended family, so that is out automatically. That expired in 2020. But even that, we don't know what he is doing in the UK. You see, in the UK, as somebody who has applied to the EU SS scheme, or in the UK as a visitor because they didn't want to stay, have they just come after 2020? Being a EU national and being in the UK doesn't make you a qualified person or a relevant person. So these are some of the points we look at. But for the uncle, anyway, it doesn't really matter who the person is or the status. The uncle is out.
Okay. I understand the scheme will take off 15th November 2020.
Yes, around end of the year.
Around the end of the year. Okay. Well, so that response has come. Let's take the very last one there from Derek. Derek says that, please, if I switch as a parent from 10 years to 5-year route, does the time spent on the 10-year count as part of the 5 years, or it starts from when I switch?
Start from when you switched.
Okay. All right. That's a straightforward answer. And it brings us to the time that we take another quick break. And when we come back, we're looking at our quiz segment. But before, would you want to put in something quickly?
Yes, let me quickly. The purpose of this is to also let people understand the specified evidence for self-employed person bringing a spouse. So I'm going to be brief. So if you are self-employed, as we said, you have to show that you have filed your tax returns for the year. So the year we are now in 2023, and therefore tax year 2022, which started from the 6th of April 2022, ended 5th of April 2023. And therefore, if you are doing immigration application, you should have done your filed your returns up to that point, even though you have 9 months to wait and do it by next year, January. Because you need it for a reason, you can file it and use the evidence that you filed it. Otherwise, you can still use the previous filing record. That's one. You also have to show that you have evidence of the tax you have paid, what we call Form SA 302. So you need Form SA 100, which is the tax returns form. You need Form SA 302, which is the tax liability form given to you by HMRC once you file your tax online. You also need evidence that the money you claim you received for the year reflected in your bank account. So you need 12 months bank statement covering the period of your account as self-employed. You also need a letter from your accountant confirming that they prepare the accounts and they can confirm the amount or the turnover and the profit as declared, being what your records state. You need all these things, and mind you, to cover the entire period. So bank statement, evidence of self-employment, self-assessment, evidence of tax that need to be paid and how much you have paid. You know that tax can be spread, and therefore, even though you have to pay a tax of X amount, as long as you are paying or the period of payment has not expired, it's fine. But you need confirmation that the tax is assessed and given to you. You also need to show that you have your UTR. So when you called the HMRC, registered, and you were given the UTR letter, that letter is important. So you have to add it to your record, your evidence. These are specified evidence for individuals who are self-employed and want to show that they meet the 18,600. So you can see that for such people, it's not about 6 months bank statement. It's the whole 12 months bank statement covering the period of business.
Well, and with that, as I said, we're taking a quick one. And when we come back, we're going to look at our quiz. And remember, it's based on what we discussed during the nuggets, the stop and search. We'll be right back.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF solicitors. BWF solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214-218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London. N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Okay, now it's knowledge time, it's quiz time. It's time for me to test to see whether you've been following whatever I've said this afternoon or has been in the public domain since Monday. Now let's get the quiz. The question is, Edward was stopped in the street by a police constable. He refused to give his name as the constable refused to give him a reason why he was being stopped. When he attempted to walk away, the constable pounced on him and pushed him to the ground for resisting arrest. Edward sustained bruises and a broken leg. Edward is considering bringing an action for assault against the police constable. When can a police constable arrest someone without a warrant? When? This time it's not what will be the likely outcome. I know those of you who have been following be expecting me to ask that question, but this time is, when can a police constable arrest someone without a warrant? 1, if the police constable believes he's a bad person. 2, if the person was walking around with a suspicious bag. 3, when the constable suspects that the person has committed or is about to commit an offense. So Edward is walking around in the street, was stopped by the police constable. He refused to give his name, as the constable also refused to give him a reason why he was being stopped. When he attempted to walk away, the constable pounced on him and pushed him to the ground for resisting arrest. Oh boy. Edward sustained bruises and a broken leg. He's considering bringing an action against the police officer for assault. When can a police constable arrest someone without a warrant? 1, if the police constable believes that he is a bad person. 2, if the person was walking around with a suspicious bag. Or 3, when the constable suspects that the person has committed or is about to commit a crime. Now let's get your answers. I see NK on the platform says number 3. You can send your comments down below, your answers. Derek, I see you providing an explanation. Let's see what you have. When the constable suspects the person has committed or is about to commit an offense. That was also number 3 as well. Who else? Let's see what you have. You can text 07950422780. That's for text, or that's for WhatsApp. Or for plain text, you can send it 07399208468. Sarah Nicole says, Sarah Indede, sorry. Sarah says number 3, which says when the constable suspects that the person has committed or is about to commit a crime. Who else has anything? Let's do this quickly. Let's do this quickly because we still have the explanation to be given from the lawyer and also the summary to do. So let's spend the next minute to do this one. Who else is coming? Who else is coming? I've got all number 3s. Nanaya says number 3, when the constable suspects the person has committed an offense or is about to commit an offense. And then Mununkum also says number 3. Okay, so lawyer, number 3 seems to be very popular. Let's read the options. First one says, if the police believes that he's a bad person, if the police was, the person was walking around and the police suspects that the bag he is carrying is suspicious, and 3, when the constable suspects that the person has committed an offense or is about to commit an offense. Lawyer.
Right. So we are talking about crime. We are talking about PACE. That's the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984. But let me read to the public what the provision actually is. If you look at Section 24, subsection 2 of PACE, why the police can do something and why the police cannot do certain things. So let's read that bit. If we go to that, it says that if a constable has reasonable grounds for suspecting that an offense has been committed, the constable may arrest, and the word is may arrest without a warrant that person whom he, the constable, has reasonable grounds to suspect that he is guilty of that offense. In other words, if the constable has suspicion, and that suspicion is built on reasonable grounds, and that it is reasonable to believe that the offense will happen if nothing is done about the constable, then with or without warrant, the constable must exercise the power of arrest.
Okay.
Exercise the power of arrest. And the word is constable. So police constable will do that. Will arrest you, whether with or without. And therefore, it's not just about arresting the person, but the suspicion should be reasonable. It shouldn't be any flimsy suspicion. And therefore, eventually it has to turn out that, yes, that is why the constable did that. And therefore, we'll conclude that the answer will be C, because there is reasonable grounds and belief that an offense is committed, and that if this arrest is not effected, it will create more problem for the community.
Somebody says all 3 of them. Could the person be too far from right?
The first one, what does the first one say?
That the constable believes that the person is a bad person.
So it's not about being a bad person. Everybody is bad, depending on what they are doing.
I am not.
Well, right. And yeah, so, sometimes we are supposed to sleep 8 hours per hour, lawyers. but because of who we are, sometimes we sleep 2 hours. We are bad people, aren't we? So we cannot be arrested for that. So what we are saying is that being bad in this context means you are a criminal or you have propensity to commit crime at
Okay.
that material moment.
Okay.
So if that, so it's not about the person's character, but the conduct, what is happening, crime being committed. That's why being bad is not the police duty. The next one is, what does the second one
The
say?
one says that the person was walking around with a suspicious bag.
I mean, what is suspicion? How did you know that? And what sort of bag should I carry? And therefore, you can't say that a person's bag is big, small, or is designed differently, and therefore, I suspect that it contains something. So the law doesn't say if you suspect that the bag is something, no. But if you suspect that the bag is being used to commit crime, i.e., sell drugs, or to do something, then if that suspicion is founded, you can arrest.
Okay. Well, the size 3, as lawyer has explained, officer can arrest a person without a warrant if they honestly suspect, with reasonable grounds, that the person has committed an offense and honestly believe, with reasonable grounds, that the arrest is necessary to allow the prompt and effective investigation of the offense. And with that, we come to the point where we go back to tradition and get lawyer to do a quick summary of what we have looked at. The topic we discussed this afternoon was how to meet the 18,600 financial requirement for your spouse's application if you are self-employed. Lawyer.
So we said that if you are self-employed, show that you are self-employed by producing a letter from HMRC confirming your UTR, tax reference number. We also said that you have to show that you have complied with your duty as a self-employed person by filing your tax returns for the relevant tax year. Tax year starts from 6th of April to the 5th of April the following year. Therefore, you need a form to confirm that this is done, and that is Form SA 100. You also need a form to show that you know your tax and you are going to meet the obligation, Form SA 302. You also have to show that the money you claim you earned, which is your turnover, based on which you have your profit, is reflected in your bank account. So you need your 12 months bank account covering the 12 months period of your account. You also need to have your account prepared by your accountant. And if it is prepared by your accountant, the accountant must add a letter to confirm that the account is being prepared within the rules and that the tax, the profit and the turnover declared are as they are from your books. And these are the things that the immigration officer or the caseworker will require you to provide as part of your supporting documents to show 18,600. And the 18,600 should be your profit, not your turnover.
And for that, you have a ton of knowledge and experience, and I believe that you would want to have another dose of what we bring out on the community and the law. And that forms an invitation open to everybody to join us again, same time next week. We will be live again on the Community and the Law program on Facebook, YouTube, and BWTV Facebook and YouTube pages. If you have enjoyed it, yes, send a message around, tell people to subscribe and come back to watch us. If you didn't have the time to watch us live, the feed will be there on our pages and you can come back and watch it and gather a lot of material from that. In any case, we have made sure that you have benefited from the program. I have, and I know that will form the basis for me to come back to the program again, same time next week. So on behalf of the production team, I want to first of all say thank you to lawyer Charles Asma for his time and, of course, the patience with which he has had to answer all our questions. We threw them to him from front, back, and center. And also to our principal, lawyer Bernard Usu, principal of BWF Solicitors. Lawyer Eunice, thank you very much for your time. Happy birthday, belated though, to my co-presenter, Na Manyete, and also congratulations to you, Auntie Cynthia Brown of BWF Solicitors. You are the Worker of the Month of August 2023. To my studio producer and director, Professor Ade, and to Sheila Ankra and Padmo Dudu for doing the aesthetics and administrative work. And to everybody that's been part of the program, we say a salute and thank you for being here. I'll see you again, same time next week.